let's briefly touch on what happened after the Riley Gaines incident when you went to go speak at I believe it's SSFU, right? Or
Yes.
SFSU, right? So you went literally a couple weeks after Riley Gaines was attacked. I know they tried to play you too. Like
Yeah.
they really did. They set up a bunch of hurdles for you in order for you to not speak, but you still spoke. So just talk to us about how that went, how that led up, and then I know everybody's waiting for us to get into the Trump stuff. So yeah, talk to us.
Yeah, real quick here. If people didn't see it, Riley Gaines spoke at San Francisco State University just weeks prior. That I already had my speech booked. I was already going to be after Riley Gaines. There was nothing we were hearing about potential pushback. Like there's always pushback with a lot of these events, but obviously we never would have imagined what happened to Riley. She was legitimately assaulted. She was held for ransom. We know that. I've shared that on my
Yeah, I
social
saw
media
the
profile.
video.
And it's just like you have people saying, if you give us this amount of money, we'll let her out. And then you even had people that came and stormed in and she got hit in the face. So from there, that was an absolute PR nightmare for San Francisco State. It was disgusting. It was vile. And that's actual fascism. When you have a just hyper, almost militant group that is not allowing you to speak and is telling you that we will hurt you, whether physically or monetarily, in order to get our specific belief system, and we will not hear yours. Like there's no diversity of thought. So what ended up happening was, I mean, it just blew up, and there's a ton of people. Like Riley has become a great friend of mine. She has been an absolute rock star, man. She is amazing, and people have to remember, I'm pretty sure Riley's only like 23.
Yeah.
Like she's really young, and she's been thrown into a situation where she tied Leah Thomas for fifth place at in one of the events at the NCAA swimming championships. And then from there, she said, "You know what? I am going to be courageous, and I'm going to speak out against this." But that's where I totally had her back. It got to a point where the only reason I did this event off campus, where they were trying to push it off campus, there was a ton of tickets that people registered for. They were trying to put me in the same room that Riley Gaines was attacked in. But the thing was, they were threatening these TPUSA students behind the scenes. Like you have the assistant dean of students. You have two people. I know exactly what they're saying to these students behind the scenes. And they say there will be disciplinary action if you try to have this on campus. We revoked your room, which was already illegal. And they were trying to push us into an outdoor space, almost baiting us to do that because they refused to give us a bigger room. And they said if that was held there, that we would be responsible for any issues because conservatives are always the instigators. Conservatives are always the ones like they basically never condemned the violence against Riley Gaines. And if there was violence against me or them, some of these kids might not even be able to graduate. And I'm not going to try to give a speech at the expense of these kids not being able to graduate. Like the wokeness that is spreading through that campus is disgusting. But I ended up going there. I spoke to kids for a couple hours earlier in the day, told people, hey, go meet me at the park across the street. That's where I'm going to have my speech. And I had some good conversations, some people in that middle ground that are like, wow, I actually didn't expect to have a conversation cordially like this with you. And there's plenty of other people that are flipping us off. There's some videos I posted, but the park was shut down when we got there. The park ranger it was like crazy. It's like, this is too much of a coincidence. Then we did it across the street from the park, found a space. There was probably 75 people there. Like for all the switches we had to do to get 75 people there was great. I spoke about how wokeness is destroying America. And I preached the gospel as well because I was telling people that is the most important thing. And I know something we're going to talk about and something I honed in on my speech was we have to stop making idols out of politicians and political parties because you can be the best conservative of all time. You can get all the awards, all the accolades, all the love, but you're not going to heaven. And, God the judge is not going to be like, you know what, well done, good and faithful conservative. It doesn't work that way. And if we start if we stop making the main thing, Jesus Christ, and replacing that with other idols, there's an issue there. But I think once we start making the main thing, we start to really have our eyes open, our ears open, and our heart open to the nonsense that's going on in our world and how to have better conversations. Believe me, too, I get riled up. I sometimes maybe react on Twitter quicker than I should or on social media than I should. But thank God for his grace. And I try to portray him really, really well. And I think the event went great. And I think that led to a little bit more conversations about like, here's the Christian perspective on love and acceptance. I had a good video that went semi-viral there because people thought I was abusing my faith. I had a girl came up there and told me that, like, we're basically like, why don't you accept trans people? It's like, well, let's think about it this way. Like Jesus, at the woman at the well, woman caught in adultery, anybody he interacted with, his love did not equal acceptance of a sinful lifestyle. He said, go and sin no more. So having people understand that like there is a standard by which we need to live by, and saying that people need to have some blind acceptance for things of the world is not actually following Christ. And that's not actually the Christ of the Bible. So like getting people to start thinking a little bit more, logically about that, inviting people to read the word too. It's like, don't take John's word for it. Like read the word in context and you'll be able to get that. And obviously that led to my little post about people making Donald Trump an idol. And that really got people riled up. That was great.
Thanks so much for watching that clip from the Why Jesus podcast. If you want to see the full episode, click right here. And you can also find us on all streaming services. God bless.